Everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going over a potential severe weather outbreak over parts of the Northeast and also over parts of the plains, but we're mainly going to focus in on parts of the Great Lakes and the Northeast where you could see potentially a tornado outbreak, especially in upstate New York and into parts of New England, and then also we could see some damaging hail and damaging winds out of this severe weather outbreak. So we're going to be going over all of that as well as some of the model guidance in today's video. Now, here is the current National Weather Service page. We see all those watches and warnings in effect for now Tropical Storm Laura, but what was Category 4 Hurricane Laura. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to cover that because I did have my special forecasts scheduled already. So I already had my fall foliage, frost forecast, snowfall forecast, and total snowfall forecast scheduled, so I was not able to actually make a video on Laura, but I will be updating you guys if we do get any more storms, and already looks like we have another potential area to watch out in the Atlantic. Now, we also have some red flag warnings scattered throughout the Rockies, excessive heat warnings over parts of southern Nevada, southern California, and southern Arizona, heat advisories for southern California there, and just some scattered dense fog advisories, as well as some scattered air quality alerts throughout parts of the western United States. And right now, we don't have any severe thunderstorm or tornado watches in effect. We do have some tornado watches for parts of Louisiana in the south central United States due to Laura, but for the severe weather outbreak that we're covering, we currently have no severe thunderstorm watches or tornado watches in effect. So here is the categorical outlook for day one, and this is going to be the main day that we want to focus on. We actually have an enhanced risk of severe weather for parts of South Dakota and Nebraska, as well for parts of southern upstate New York, southwestern Massachusetts, parts of Connecticut into Long Island, and then northern New Jersey and northeastern Pennsylvania. There, seeing a enhanced risk, a 3 out of 5 risk of severe weather, and for this part of the country, that is not too normal to see. So usually this is a quite unusual thing to see, an enhanced risk. It does happen every once in a while, but still you really need to pay attention when they do outline this area in enhanced risk. And surrounding that, we have a slight risk going all the way from Wyoming and Montana straight eastward pretty much into parts of the northeast states. And we also have that slight risk of severe weather over parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas just because of tropical storm Laura, which on the eastern side of most of these tropical storms and hurricanes, you can actually get quite a few tornadoes to spin up. So that's what they're watching there for the SPC in terms of seeing some tornado outbreak potentially for parts of the south central. Now, here is the tornado outlook. We have a 2% chance from Wyoming and Montana eastward into parts of the northeast, and then we actually have a 5% chance in that area that was highlighted in enhanced risk. So that basically means that within any 25-mile, if you were to point out one point in this 5% area, there's a 5% chance within any of these regions that you'll see a tornado. So it's a bit confusing, but generally when you see a 5% or sometimes they even put a 10 or 15% chance out, that's when you really have to pay attention. Even though 5% doesn't sound like a lot, it still really is quite a large chance of seeing some tornadoes throughout these regions. Also, we do have a 5% chance there for the areas in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas there. Now, here is the wind outlook, and you see we have a 15% chance in that yellow, 30% chance in that red for both of those enhanced regions, and then we even have a little hashed region there, which actually indicates that we could see wind gusts over 65 knots. We have a 10% chance or greater of seeing wind gusts of 65 knots or greater, which is around 70 to 75 miles per hour. So that is very, very high wind gusts with these storms. And actually, in a couple of moments, I'm going to actually bring you guys a live picture of the radar. And we already have some of these storms firing up as of when I'm recording this. Now, Here's your hail outlook, and over parts of western South Dakota, northwestern Nebraska, and eastern Wyoming, we have a hatched region as well. For parts of northern New Jersey, northern Pennsylvania, southern upstate New York, western Connecticut, and western Long Island, we have another hatched region where we could see a 10% chance or greater of seeing 2-inch hail in diameter or greater. So we do have a chance of seeing some very, very large hail, and the main reason for that is that it doesn't look like this is going to be a straight line of thunderstorms just moving south and eastward. What we're looking at is pretty much a just a bunch of scattered little storms just popping up all over the place, and that is going to give these storms room to form tornadoes, room to form hail cores. So you're really going to see more of supercells instead of straight line wind damage. So you're going to, instead of seeing a squall of these storms, you're actually going to see potentially supercells develop, and that can really enhance the risk of seeing larger hail and also tornadoes throughout these regions. Now, let's start looking at some of these ingredients. Let's start off with the dew points. And usually you just need a dew point above about 60 to get some decent severe weather. And right now, all throughout this region that we're really watching, we have dew points over about 70. And for parts of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and down through parts of the Mid-Atlantic, it's a bit lower into the mid-60s. But still, very high dew points that could definitely sustain some severe weather over these regions. Now, here's your high temperatures for today, your forecasted high temperatures, and this is from the European model, and they are showing high temperatures, especially over this region that was in this enhanced risk region, in the 90s, and then back through further to the west. You also have some 90s showing up there, so that is definitely sufficient for severe weather. Usually, you only need about 70 degrees or 80-degree temperatures to really sustain that, and so this daytime heating that we're going to see is really going to help spark these storms. Now, here is your deep layer wind shear, and this is showing you your wind shear, the winds changing with height, and that can really help a thunderstorm develop. And we do see that the highest areas of wind shear are actually over New England and upstate New York, but we do still see some decent levels of wind shear throughout that enhanced risk region where you had those warm temperatures, those high dew points, and now we see that large amount of wind shear over those regions. Now, also here's your Cape, and this is probably the least potent looking product from the severe weather. Right now, we don't see too much convective available potential energy in the atmosphere, but I do think you're going to see some of that develop anyway, just because of how warm the atmosphere will be, how moist the atmosphere will be. But we do see some of these storms where they're going to be forming over parts of southern upstate New York and northern Pennsylvania. That's where you're really going to start to see these systems or these storms form, and they're going to start to make their way further south. So you don't necessarily need a lot of Cape throughout this region to see those severe thunderstorms, because most of the Cape is located to the north, and those storms are going to form to the north and move their way south and southeastward. So Cape isn't really the biggest issue here for the severe weather outbreak today. Now, here is the NAM3CAM model, and this is a depiction of what would be happening right now as of when I'm recording this video, and here is the actual radar. So I'll flip back and forth between them. They do look quite similar here from the NAM3CAM model, and also we do see that we already have some severe thunderstorms developing, and this is actually a little bit more enhanced than what we saw in the NAM3CAM model forecast. So if these storms are going to form a little bit earlier and faster and start to form more numerous in its storms, that really could be quite troubling, because the models are actually potentially underestimating what's happening here in the Northeast. And you see, we already have south of Syracuse, we have a very, very strong severe thunderstorm, and that is the National Weather Service radar in Montauk, New York there. So here is, let's start looking at the model guidance and where these storms are going to set up. We have a big warm front that's just going to be lifting further to the north, and that's that area of precipitation you see there. And you don't see on the NAM3CAM model any real storms start to develop until we get get into about the 2 p.m. hour in Eastern time, and that was well before we're seeing these storms already developing. We're already seeing some storms develop in upstate New York that are quite potent already. So you can only imagine how many storms we could potentially see on radar. I'm definitely going to be tracking this. I'm not going to be live streaming this, but I will be definitely checking out the radar frequently throughout the evening just to see how this severe weather outbreak actually does play out, because it does look quite potent right now. Then we start to see really a lot of action start to occur, and this would be right around 5 p.m. Eastern time, and then this would be right around, I believe, 8 o'clock Eastern time when this would be occurring, and you do see some scattered thunderstorms, but notice how far apart they are from each other, and this will really give these storms room to grow. So we do have quite a bit of storms that are quite far apart, that are quite a few miles apart, so this will really give these storms a lot of room to develop hail cores as well as develop tornadoes along with them potentially, and we do have a decent shot of seeing a couple weak EF0 or EF1 tornadoes, but we cannot rule out some EF2 or greater tornadoes. Now, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.